Claire Thompson was stocking shelves at Save More supermarket when she heard the crying, a child's desperate, overwhelmed sobs coming from aisle 7. She set down her box of cereal and hurried toward the sound, finding a little girl, maybe 6 years old, sitting on the floor with her hands pressed over her ears, rocking back and forth. The child was clutching a stuffed fox and crying so hard she was hyperventilating. Around her, shoppers walked past quickly, some staring, some deliberately looking away. One woman muttered, "Where are her parents? Someone should control that child." Claire knelt a few feet away from the little girl, careful not to invade her space. She recognized the signs immediately. Her younger brother was autistic, and she'd seen him have sensory meltdowns just like this hundreds of times. "Hi, sweetheart," Claire said softly. "My name is Claire. I think everything is too loud and too bright right now, isn't it?" The little girl didn't look at her, but her rocking slowed slightly. "I'm going to help make it quieter, okay? I'm not going to touch you. I'm just going to make the space feel safer." Claire stood and quickly turned off the overhead fluorescent lights in that section of the store, using the employee override switch. The harsh brightness dimmed to the natural light coming through the windows. Then she positioned herself between the child and the main aisle, blocking the view of gawking customers. "Is this a little better?" Claire asked gently, kneeling again. The little girl's hands slowly lowered from her ears. She was still crying, but less frantically now. "What's your name?" Claire asked. "Sophie," the child whispered. "That's a beautiful name." "Sophie, are you here with someone? Your mom or dad?" "Daddy, we got separated. There were too many people and too much noise, and I couldn't find him, and everything was too much." Sophie's breathing started accelerating again. "It's okay. We're going to find your daddy. But first, let's make sure you can breathe, okay? Can you hug your fox really tight? Squeeze him as hard as you can?" Sophie clutched her stuffed fox, the deep pressure calming her nervous system, a technique Claire had learned with her brother. "Good. Now, can you tell me 3 things you can see right now?" My fox." "Your name tag. That green box. Perfect. Now 2 things you can hear?" "Your voice. The freezer's humming. Excellent. 1 thing you can touch?" "Fox's soft fur. You did so well, Sophie. Your breathing is much calmer now. Let's go find your daddy, okay? I'll walk with you." Claire stood and extended her hand, not pushing, just offering. Sophie looked at the hand for a long moment, then slowly reached out and took it. They walked through the store, Sophie still clutching her fox, Claire keeping a steady, calming presence beside her. As they rounded the corner to the front of the store, Claire saw a man in a business suit frantically talking to the store manager, his voice tight with panic. "She's 6 years old, she's autistic. She was right beside me, and then suddenly she was gone. Please. I need to check your security cameras. I need to find my daughter." "Daddy!" Sophie let go of Claire's hand and ran to the man, who scooped her up immediately, tears streaming down his face. "Sophie, thank God. I was so scared. I turned around and you were gone. It was too loud, Daddy. Too many people. I couldn't breathe. But Claire helped me. She made it quieter and helped me calm down." The man looked at Claire for the first time, his expression transforming from panic to overwhelming gratitude. "You found her? You helped her?" "She was having a sensory overload in aisle 7. I just made the environment a little calmer until she could regulate. I have an autistic brother. I recognize the signs." "I don't know how to thank you." Sophie struggles in busy environments, but she wanted to come shopping with me, and I thought we'd be quick. Then my phone rang, work emergency, and I was distracted for 30 seconds and she was gone. "Excuse me!" A sharp voice cut through the moment. Claire's manager, Patricia, stormed over, her face red with anger. "Claire Thompson, did you just turn off the lights in aisle 7? "Yes, ma'am. The little girl was having, I don't care what she was having. You disrupted the entire store. Customers are complaining. You left your stocking duties. This is completely unacceptable." "Patricia, she was helping my daughter," the man interjected. "My daughter was in distress and Claire helped her when no one else would. I don't care if she was helping the president's daughter. She violated store policy." "Claire, you're fired!" "Effective immediately. Clear out your locker and leave." Claire felt the world tilt. She'd been working at Save More for 3 years, slowly paying off debt from her mother's medical bills. She needed this job. But she also couldn't regret helping Sophie. "I understand," Claire said quietly. "I'll get my things. Wait," the man started. But Claire was already walking toward the break room. Trying to hold back tears, she cleaned out her locker in a daze, a few personal items, her spare uniform, a photo of her brother. She'd just been fired for helping a child, for doing the right thing. Claire was walking through the parking lot, her box of belongings in her arms, when she heard footsteps behind her. "Excuse me!" "Miss Claire, wait!" She turned to find the man from the store jogging toward her, Sophie holding his hand. "I'm so sorry," the man said, slightly out of breath. "I'm sorry you got fired for helping my daughter. That's unconscionable. It's okay. I don't regret helping Sophie. She needed someone and everyone else just walked past her. That's exactly why I need to talk to you. My name is David Fitzgerald. I'm the CEO of Fitzgerald Industries. And I'd like to offer you a job." Claire stared at him. "What?" "You helped my daughter when no one else would. You recognized she was autistic immediately and knew exactly how to calm her. You were patient, kind, and effective. Those are the exact qualities I need in someone. Mr. Fitzgerald, I stock shelves at a supermarket. I don't have the qualifications for whatever corporate position. I'm not offering you a corporate position. I'm offering you a position as Sophie's support specialist, someone who understands autism, who can help her navigate overwhelming situations, who can teach me how to be a better father to my autistic daughter. You want to hire me to help with Sophie? Yes, full-time position, benefits, salary 3 times what you were making at the supermarket. Your job would be to support Sophie, help her with social situations, teach her coping strategies, advocate for her needs, and educate me and my team about autism so we can better support her. I'm not a certified therapist or special education teacher, no. But you have lived experience. Your brother is autistic, you said. That means you understand things no amount of professional training can teach. And more importantly, you saw my daughter in distress and you helped without hesitation. That's the person I want supporting Sophie. Claire helped me when everyone else was scared of me, Sophie added quietly. She made the lights quieter. She helped me breathe. I want her to stay with us, Daddy. Claire looked at the little girl who'd just cost her a job but was now offering her something better. Purpose, decent pay, and the chance to actually help someone instead of just stocking shelves. Okay, Claire said. Yes, I'd be honored to work with Sophie. Excellent. Can you start Monday? I'll have my HR director contact you with all the details, contract, salary, benefits. But Claire, I need you to know something. You didn't just help my daughter calm down today. You showed her that when she's overwhelmed, there are people who will help instead of judge. That's a gift I can never repay. The following Monday, Claire started her new position. David's penthouse was enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows, expensive furniture, rooms she wasn't sure even had purposes. But Sophie's room was different, carefully designed to be a calm space with soft lighting. Noise-dampening curtains, a weighted blanket, and a whole shelf of stuffed animals. I tried to make it autism-friendly, David explained. But I'm learning as I go. Her mother died when Sophie was 2. I've been raising her alone, and I don't always understand what she needs. I've hired every specialist and therapist, but Sophie still struggles. Then you calmed her down in a supermarket in 5 minutes. That's what she needs, someone who just gets it. Over the following weeks, Claire worked with Sophie on coping strategies for overwhelming environments. She taught her deep breathing techniques, helped her identify her triggers, created social stories for difficult situations. But more importantly, she advocated for Sophie's needs, explaining to David that his daughter wasn't misbehaving when she couldn't make eye contact or got upset by unexpected changes. Sophie was navigating a world that wasn't designed for her sensory needs. You need to warn her before transitions. Claire explained to David one evening after Sophie had a meltdown when they suddenly changed dinner plans. Autistic people often need time to mentally prepare for changes. What seems like a small, spontaneous decision to you feels like chaos to Sophie. I didn't realize. I thought I was being fun and spontaneous. To Sophie, it's overwhelming. She needs structure and predictability. That's not bad or rigid. That's just how her brain works best. David listened and learned, and Claire watched as father and daughter's relationship transformed. David stopped trying to make Sophie act normal and started accommodating her needs. He let her wear headphones in loud environments. He gave her warnings before transitions. He learned that Sophie's stimming behaviors, rocking, hand flapping, weren't problems to eliminate but coping mechanisms to respect. "You've changed our lives," David told Claire 3 months into her employment. Sophie is calmer, happier. "But more than that, I finally understand my daughter. I've been trying to fix her for 4 years when what she needed was for me to accept her exactly as she is." Sophie doesn't need fixing. She needs support and understanding. There's a difference. As months passed, Claire's role expanded beyond just supporting Sophie. She started consulting with David's company on accessibility and neurodiversity initiatives. She educated his HR team on accommodating autistic employees. She helped design sensory-friendly spaces in Fitzgerald Industries offices. "You're not just helping Sophie anymore," David observed. "You're changing how my entire company thinks about disability and accommodation." Because once you understand autism for one person, you start seeing how many barriers exist for all neurodivergent people. Your workplace could be accessible to autistic adults, too. Flexible schedules, quiet workspaces, clear communication. It's not hard. It just requires thinking differently. Somewhere between teaching Sophie calming techniques and educating David about autism, Claire found herself falling in love. With Sophie, certainly, but also with David. She saw how hard he worked to be a good father, how he listened and learned and changed his entire parenting approach because he loved his daughter enough to admit he'd been doing it wrong, and David was falling too for the woman who'd seen his daughter in distress and helped without hesitation, who'd lost a job because she prioritized a child's well-being over store policy, who'd transformed his understanding of autism and his relationship with his daughter. "I'm in love with you," David admitted one evening after Sophie was asleep. "I've been trying to ignore it because you work for me, and I don't want to make this complicated. But Claire, you're the most extraordinary person I've ever met. You're patient, compassionate, knowledgeable. You made my daughter's life better. You made my life better. I'm in love with you." "I'm in love with you too," Claire confessed. "But David, Sophie comes first, always. If we do this, if we try dating, her needs have to be our priority. No confusion, no disruption to the stability she's built." Agreed. Sophie first, always. They dated carefully for a year, making sure Sophie was comfortable with the evolving relationship. Sophie, for her part, was delighted. "Does this mean Claire will stay forever?" Sophie asked when David explained that he and Claire were dating. "Not just work with me, but live with us? Would you like that?" "Yes, Claire understands me. She doesn't get mad when I need things to be quiet or when I can't look at people's eyes. She makes everything less scary." 2 years after meeting in a supermarket aisle, David proposed, not in some elaborate public gesture that would overwhelm Sophie, but quietly at home, with Sophie present and excited. "Claire Thompson, you saved my daughter in a supermarket and then proceeded to transform both our lives. You taught me how to be the father Sophie needed. You showed me that autism isn't a problem to solve, but a difference to understand and accommodate. You made our family whole. Will you marry me? Will you officially become Sophie's mother and my wife?" "Yes," Claire said through tears. "To all of it?" At their wedding, Sophie served as flower girl, wearing noise-canceling headphones decorated with flowers to match her dress. During the reception, held in a sensory-friendly venue with controlled lighting and quiet spaces, David gave a toast that made everyone cry. 3 years ago, my daughter had a sensory meltdown in a busy supermarket. Dozens of people walked past her. One person stopped, a shelf stocker who recognized autism because of her own brother who knew exactly how to help. Claire calmed Sophie down, helped her find me, and got fired for violating store policy by turning off the lights to reduce sensory input. I walked out of that store and told Claire, "You work for me now." I thought I was offering her a job as thanks for helping Sophie. What I didn't know was that I was meeting the woman who would change our entire lives. Claire taught me how to be a better father. She taught my company how to be more accessible. She gave Sophie stability and understanding. And she gave me love when I'd resigned myself to raising my daughter alone. Claire got fired from a supermarket for doing the right thing. I'm grateful every day that she did. Claire's toast was characteristically humble. 3 years ago, I was stocking shelves, paying off debt, living paycheck to paycheck. Then I heard a little girl crying in aisle 7. I recognized sensory overload because my brother experiences it. I helped Sophie calm down and got fired for disrupting the store. David offered me a job that day, not as charity, but because he recognized that understanding autism through lived experience matters. Working with Sophie has been the greatest honor of my life. She's taught me that autistic people don't need to be fixed or normalized. They need to be understood and accommodated. David gave me a job when I lost one for doing the right thing. Sophie gave me purpose. They both gave me a family I never expected. Years later, when Sophie was older and more verbal, she'd tell her own version of the story. When I was 6, I got lost in a supermarket, Sophie would explain in her precise, literal way. Everything was too loud and too bright, and I couldn't find Daddy, and I sat down and cried. Everyone walked past me except Claire. She made the lights quieter and helped me breathe and found my daddy. Then she got fired for helping me. Daddy said, "You work for me now," and hired her. Now she's my mom. Not my birth mom, she died when I was little, but my real mom who understands that I'm autistic, and that's okay. Claire saved me in the supermarket. Then she saved me every day after by teaching Daddy how to understand me. Thank you for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment about a time when you helped someone and it changed your life, or when someone understood your neurodivergence when others didn't. Your stories remind us that shelf stockers can be heroes, that CEOs can be humble enough to learn, that autistic children deserve understanding, not judgment, and that sometimes getting fired for doing the right thing leads to something infinitely better.